Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The weekly predictions for Bold and the Beautiful discuss Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly, Lang being extremely arrogant, and Bill Spencer Donomat going on a rampage. We have predictions for Sheila Carter, Kimberlyn Brown, Lee Finnegan, Naomi Matsuda, Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly, Lang and Ridge Forrester, Torsten K., Nick Marone, Jack Wagner, Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, and Bill Spencer, Dawn Diamat, and Grace Buckingham. Let's dive right in. Brave and gorgeous forecasts. Brooke Logan's smug triumph and Taylor Hayes' heartbreak. According to our original guest, Taylor is devastated that she won't be getting married. Taylor informs Ridge this week that Brooke has a future, but it will be with Nick rather than him. Additionally, Taylor informs Ridge that she will not be removing her engagement ring. We told you about the Italian magazine breach weeks and weeks ago. As you are aware, when Brad Bell initially allowed all of this to happen, we had it translated and publicized. Rich dove into the sea and swam, I think, a/4 mile out to retrieve Brooke Logan after she fell off the back of a boat last week. He was so far from the boat that it was kind of absurd. And is Brooke truly incapable of swimming? In any case, after performing CPR, Rich stuck his tongue in Brooke's mouth and apologized for taking her for granted. It would never take place once more. He kissed her and embraced her, promising to put things right. She was beaming because, to be fair, she had finally gotten what she had been battling for. On BMBB, Rich the Waffler is back at it once more. However, Rich shifted between women without alerting the other to his indecisiveness. He, Brooke, and Taylor are all involved in the same situation. Brooke, meanwhile, appeared thrilled. A spoiler image with her and Katie Logan, Heather Tom from the upcoming week is available. It appears that Brooke is the one who ate the canary. She is aware that she defeated Taylor and won her partner back. Rich must therefore tell Taylor that he is going to be reunited with Brooke and that this time their relationship is truly ended. Ridge will declare that he will never again leave Brooke. But Taylor isn't prepared to remove the ring just yet because Ridge told Taylor and Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes, would that he wouldn't do what he is doing at the moment. I believe she will experience a severe case of denial that will eventually lead to horror. Unfortunately, Taylor truly believed that this time would be different, but Ridge is going to let her down once more, and we were all aware of its imminence, right? In Bold and the Beautiful, Nick's I-8 proposal and Brooke Logan's devastating rejection. Now for our second forecast, Nick is enraged. Next week in LA, he will tell Brooke that their relationship is still going strong. He follows her over there. He takes out an engagement ring and pops the question after declaring his continued love for Brooke. In Italy, Nick was prepared to pop the question, and Eric Forrester, played by John McCook, tried all in his power to stop it. Rich played hero after the boat went crazy and he threw Brooke into the ocean. Nick appeared to be a fool. He hasn't finished yet, though. In order for Brooke to make him an even greater fool, he follows her back to Los Angeles. Rich has had Brooke on the merry-go-round for decades, and Nick wanted her off. However, the reality remains that Brooke wants to be on that ride. I don't understand. Ridge is not a prize. However, the heart desires what it desires. When Nick takes out that ring, Brooke will undoubtedly reject him. The brave and the lovely Nick loses it. I don't think he'll handle it well. I anticipate his anger. He might say something to Ridge for trying to win Brooke over. I would not be shocked if Nick issued an ultimatum to Brooke. This is it or something similar. Pick me or we're done together. I'm not going to ask again. I also don't want to continue on this roller coaster. Of course, what Nick says is irrelevant. Brooke will remain with Rich. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I'd actually like to see Nick and Taylor storm out of town together to lick each other's wounds and give the individuals who broke up with them the finger. But I don't think we'd get something that entertaining. It's going to be a simple "oh" with Nick being angry and Taylor crying, and that's about it. Bill Spencer's rampage, Grace Buckingham's repercussions on Bold and the Beautiful. Our third prediction is that Grace Buckingham is destroyed by Bill Spencer. Don Demant. Bill claims that B will pay in the preview for next week, but he uses the word. I will not reveal it. Profanity is not tolerated on YouTube. It's not going well for Dr. Grace Buckingham. Cassandra Creech. Next week, he threw himself at her with violence in his heart after confessing to Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton. She was slapped by Hope Logan and Nukika Noel and manhandled by Finnegan Tanner Navlin. I will admit that for whatever reason I have seen some irate comments on soap opera social media regarding Grace, a black lady, being surrounded and threatened by 3 white individuals. The fact that Hope smacked her on Bold and the Beautiful has especially angered people. In historical terms, I will state that Hope slapped Flo Fulton Katrina Bowden, who assisted Rhea in stealing her infant daughter, Beth. Nevertheless, I felt Hope's physical assault was excessive and perhaps unwarranted. However, many supporters are accusing the entire situation of racism. In my opinion, Brad Bell is generally tone-deaf when it comes to such matters. Take it for what it is. Then, Grace falling on the brave and the lovely. Grace is going to have more encounters this week, even though she promised to give herself into the police. On Friday, she will return to work the following week. Bill loses it when Liam tells him the unpleasant reality about the drugging, the phony cancer, and the multi-million-dollar swindle. Bill is furious about the upcoming week and promises to hold that be accountable. He will undoubtedly attempt to ruin Grace's career and personal life. It won't look good if Bill threatens Grace by going up to the hospital. The public announcement of Brooke, Logan, and Ridge Forza's reunion appends Bold and the Beautiful. The official announcement of Brooke and Ridge's reunion is our 4th forecast. Next week, after Brooke declines Nick's proposal, Ridge informs Taylor that the ring on her finger is no longer significant because he is back with Brooke and won't let her go. It is time for Brooke and Ridge to make a public announcement about their reunion after they have had these difficult talks with their previous lovers. Brooke will not slow down, since Ridge didn't give a damn when he publicly humiliated Brooke. I doubt he will care all that much if he does the same to Taylor. The truth is that Ridge lacks a sensitivity chip. There will be a lot of people celebrating the Bridge reunion and making fun of the people they broke up. And she was playing with Heather Tom's character, Katie. Logan will be ecstatic. I don't believe she's going to have any trouble salting the wound because she was already kind of in Taylor's face about Brooke last week. Taylor will most likely hear Donna Logan, played by Jennifer Jarvis, say, "I told you so. Now leave my house and pack your bags." Will Spencer, played by Crew Mororo, will be pleased for his Aunt Brooke. I don't think Taylor would stay to watch Brooke and Ridge have their happily ever after. I'm also excited to watch how Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes, would react to Brooke and Ridge's reunion when she returns this fall. The hidden plan of Sheila Carter and Lee Finnegan. Bold and the beautiful exposes Luna Natsuwa's survival. Lee and Sheila plot, which is our sixth and last prediction. According to next week's spoilers, Sheila will question Lee about why she saved Luna, since Lee would never respond to her inquiries regarding where she buried Luna or dispersed her ashes. Sheila had long believed something was wrong. Sheila believed that Lee was using medicines to deal with her sadness after she noticed some of the medications that Lee had dropped. However, Sheila followed my suspicions and stalked Lee and Luna, who is unconscious. Sheila wants to know why Lee did it next week. From there, I believe the grandmothers will discover they are in agreement. Lee will probably say to Sheila, "Please, leave me alone so I can look after Luna." Sheila, however, will not pursue that. She'll probably remind that she was a nurse once and that she wants to share the caregiving responsibilities with Luna. Sheila can't tell Deacon Sharpshawn Cannon the truth. Thus, it will be difficult for her to explain where she spends hours each day. He hates Luna. The fact that she lived will hurt him. Lee will be forced to trust Sheila and tell her the truth now that she is aware of it, or else she runs the risk of revealing her secret. When the storm finally broke, the Forrester, Logan, Spencer, and Finnegan circles were left stunned by the intensity of the emotions that were tearing through them. The storm had been building for weeks. When it was appropriate, Bill Spencer could pull off a dapper tuxedo. But this was not one of those occasions. This was the Bill Spencer who had been wronged, who had eyes like sharpened steel, who could reduce someone's entire life to ashes with a simple stare and a well-timed phone call. No, this was the Bill Spencer who didn't care about smooth talk or corporate diplomacy. And Brooke Logan knew the storm wasn't coming for her. Not today, anyway. As she sat in Ridge's chair in the CEO's office at Forrester Creations, her legs crossed beautifully and that languid, contented smile on her face. She actually enjoyed it. Bill was doing all the heavy labor while Brooke's adversaries were about to pay. It began earlier that morning when Bill was presented with the conclusive proof that Grace Buckingham's recent medical heroics, including the purported miracle cure she had administered to Liam after determining that he had a fatal and incurable condition, had all been a complex hoax, playing the helpless father like a puppet. Grace had taken a whopping $1 million donation from Bill for Liam's treatment. For days, Bill had suspected foul play. But this was tangible. To maintain the lie, she had paid off technicians, fabricated lab findings, and played with Liam's emotions. The silence that descended upon Spencer Publications as Bill slapped the paperwork onto his desk and yelled at Justin to close his office door was such that staff members wondered who would be unemployed by the end of the day. At the same time, Brooke was experiencing a strong surge of fulfillment at Forrester. She had cornered Taylor Hayes in front of Ridge just 48 hours earlier with information so explosive that it had all but destroyed Taylor's dignity. The information revealed how Taylor had subtly planted doubts about Brooke's loyalty by privately hinting to Ridge that she was the only person who had ever truly understood him. However, Brooke possessed evidence that Taylor had also communicated with Nick Marone behind Ridge's back, suggesting a renewed romance in the event that things didn't work out with Ridge. Ridge's expression was priceless when Brooke gave him the transcript of Taylor's brief conversation with Nick. Although Ridge hadn't physically ejected Taylor from the room, the harm had already been done. He had a shattered trust, the kind that doesn't go away without leaving a scar, and Brooke could see it in his
eyes.
All that mattered to Brooke was that Taylor had been dethroned, regardless of whether Ridge left both ladies in frustration. Brooke could already see the next phase of Taylor's
demise.
As Bill was ready to go nuclear on Grace, her confidant and close friend, Brooke smirked and thought, "You choose your future when you choose your friends." When Bill barged into Grace's hospital office, the day really exploded. He didn't knock. He didn't hold off on accepting an invitation. Grace was drinking her coffee when the door crashed open so forcefully that it struck the wall and she froze. Bill had a quiet but deadly voice.
He started by
throwing the file on her desk and saying, "You cheated on me. You told falsehoods about my son's life. I felt like I was seeing Liam's death because of you." His voice cracked a little, but not out of weakness, but rather with barely controlled anger. Bill was now bending over Grace's desk, his hands grasping the sides as if he may break the wooden too, while she stammered out a denial. "I will ensure that you never again practice medicine. If you are not incarcerated by the end of the week, you will be fortunate." As Grace tried to think of a way out, Bill continued to bombard her with information, including dates of fabricated test results, names of lab technicians who had been paid off, and bank transfers that linked every dollar of his $1 million directly to her personal accounts. Even though Grace was aware of Bill's might, she felt cold when she saw all of his resources used against her. She believed she could outsmart him and, if cornered, possibly even control his emotions.
She
was mistaken. Absolutely incorrect.
By
the time Ridge learned about the altercation from Steffi, who received the information from Finn, who had overheard hospital rumors, the Forrester patriarch was already caught between this new catastrophe involving Grace and his own issue with Brooke and Taylor. That afternoon, Ridge confronted Taylor directly and asked if she was aware of Grace's deceit. Ridge's eyes furrowed when Taylor denied it, but her denial was too hesitant. Feeling like he was being played from several angles was one of the things Ridge detested the most. When Brooke met Ridge later that night, she could see he was feeling different, and she knew she had him just the way she wanted him to be. Wary of Taylor, doubting her judgment, and reevaluating who should be at his side.
In a
different part of this complex web, Brooke sent Nick a mysterious invitation that led to his return to Los